chance to put things right. Ooh, Mike Stevenson, you're the man with the plan.
Yeah, well,
The reason you're the man with the plan is
yeah,
because you believe in young people. You
I
support
do
young
believe in young
people.
people, and I'm at the age where so many of my contemporaries are dissing the young people. They're saying they're snowflakes. They're
Right.
weak. I mean, this is a political weapon to attack young people and people who are more liberal minded. This really is a tactic.
Yeah.
But we have to close the gap between the very wealthy and the poor. It is absurd. Who does it serve to have, you know, more than half the global population living in poverty?
Right.
It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for business. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense for the environment.
No.
It doesn't make sense for any part of humanity.
It's actually a drain on society.
It
It's
is a
it's
drain.
crazy. Yeah.
It is a drain, and it's also a depressive because in the States and in this country, we're Western societies,
Yeah.
we've got poverty. And people say, well, it's not abject poverty. Real poverty is not knowing where the next meal is coming from. Well, actually, now we have people who don't know where the next meal is coming from.
Yeah.
So we have got a problem and we have to address that. Now, there's got to be some leverage of the money that has been amassed in tax havens. Britain specialises in tax havens
Mm-hmm.
because all these British protectorates where money is moved out of through London into bank accounts on the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, places like that. We've got
Right.
Panama, right?
Shelters.
We have to stop that.
Yeah, for
We have
sure.
to stop that.
We
Now,
get to.
yes, and the world needs to agree on that. Now,
Yeah,
the two countries that will oppose it will be the US and the UK.
for sure.
I think, Europe wanted to tackle it. So what did we do when Europe started talking about, closing off the access to tax havens? They said we want to leave the European Union, and that's what's happened. But we've got to address this.
Yeah.
We've also got in the whole process of repairing the world, we've got to start nursing the planet now.
Like
And we know,
yesterday.
yes,
Like many
absolutely.
yesterdays ago.
And and there's a lot of enthusiasm to do that. The only stoppers are those who've got an interest in retaining the status quo. And that's why give leadership to young people, because they get it.
They do.
It's the future.
Yeah.
They've got more of a stake in it than I have. I don't know how many years I've got left, but even if I live to, 120, I'm not going to see the worst aspects of, the damage we're doing to the planet.
Yeah,
Let's just
for sure.
agree we are doing damage to the planet. If you have doubts about it, put your doubts aside and say, however, I will not ruin the chances of my children, my grandchildren, and their children. So
Mm-hmm.
let's agree that. And let's start doing all the things that are right. And if that means us losing some of the luxuries that we've had,
Yeah.
then we have to do that.
And so be it.
And yes, so leadership for young people, I think we can do in a fairly systematic way.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yes, we've got governments, but those governments must be accountable to the population.
Right.
And I think that young people should have special sittings with government, wherever
Definitely.
local government and national government.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, it might add more voices to an already, cacophonous sound of politicians all
Yeah.
mouthing off. But we
Yeah.
need to hear those voices. We
Right.
need to give them a sense that they are part of the solution, and we need to listen to them now
Yeah.
and
And
give them leadership
I'm
because
happy to jump in
yeah,
there as far as business goes. Like
yes,
when a business is going to, make something wonderful for a city or town or whatever, it's like, what is the rollout effect on the people? Let's hear from the people because they are
absolutely,
on the ground and they know what
yeah,
that's really going to mean to them. And so there's a lot of well doers, good doers
yeah,
in the world, and they're not because they're not listening to the people.
yes,
Mm.
absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's almost reforming democracy. look,
Yes.
it sounds complicated. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
They've done it in places like in Norway, where the young people were all leaving the town because all the industry had gone. They
Yeah.
got young people in as part of the political solution.
Nice.
That's the thing to do.
Yeah.
What's going to make you stay in this town? Because you're
Exactly.
leaving.
Yeah.
You know?
Italy too. Like
Yes,
ghost
exactly.
towns. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. I love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mike. This has been super
My
informative.
pleasure. Yeah.